YouTube. I'm Arwen, the professional joy seeker and also a professional tarot consultant. In my mad rush to be Barbara Walters of YouTube, I am interviewing anybody who doesn't move faster than me or trips and falls, and I can pounce on them. And this lady is somebody I've actually known for, I want to say a year. We've chatted in Facebook a little bit, and we were chatting more, but then she got into a big move and we got off our schedule. So, and then I think I went to work, but we've known each other for a while now. And I would like to introduce you to my friend, the wonderful Australian Echo Foxpaw. Hi, Echo.
Hi, it's so good to see you again. And it's been over 2 years.
I don't do time. I'm so bad at it.
Remember, because I met you just before I lost my father, because you did that reading for me that time, and that's just 2 years, just about 2 years. So yeah, we've known each other for a while.
Wow, I'd forgotten that. So yeah. Now, I'm talking. We've got a bad lag, so we're talking over each other because I keep jumping on you, and I am so sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, just that I'm glad to catch up with you again finally.
Me too. We'll have to do some of these that aren't for YouTube so we can have the real chat. Woohoo! Now, show me your nails. Did I see purple?
You did.
Oh,
you did. I love purple. Purple's my power color. Purple shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have had purple beautiful. In my hair.
Nice. Now, what I want to know about you first is what part of Australia are you in? I've talked to a couple of people in Melbourne. One I think was in Sydney, but where are you located?
I'm located in Queensland, which is sort of up north, but I'm actually in southeast Queensland, which is right down the bottom corner near Brisbane. I'm about 5 from Brisbane.
And I've got a really good friend. Yeah, the beach, right?
Yes. And the hinterland, so we can go 30 minutes one way and be at the beach, or 30 minutes the other way and be up in the mountains in the bush. So I love where I live.
Wow, yeah. My friend is an ex-cop, and it's not in Brisbane. It's in a town that started with red, and I cannot remember the name of it.
Well, there's Red Bank. There's Red Bank, Red Cliff.
Yeah.
If it's on the water, like on a beach, it'd be Red Bank.
Maybe that's it, because I kept thinking it was red wine, but that could have been me wanting a drink. I thought.
So you like a...
Say it again?
You like red wines then, do you?
Red, white. If you give me an Australian Shiraz, I am a very happy girl. So
you need an Australian Moscato is what you need.
We love Moscatos. Now, white or red? Red or white Moscato?
I like the white. Drink the red, but I like the white better.
Yeah.
As far as wines go, I'm not a red girl. I'm a white girl.
Yeah, I'm more red. My husband prefers white, but yeah, and I'll drink both. But
as long as it's sweet, I don't care. I'm not really into the dry.
Yeah, and I'll drink a Cabernet or Sauvignon, really dry. I really like them. But let me get to the questions. So this is the 13 things I want to know about you, and there's like 15 or 16 questions. What's the first thing you can remember about witches? Was it in your family? Was it on TV? How did you understand the term witch?
I grew up in a very, very strict Christian family, so we weren't allowed to watch a lot of things on TV because they had witchcraft in them. So things like Bewitched, even things like HR Puffin stuff with Witchy-Poo.
Oh.
Did you ever? What have you? Yeah, I sort of remember them from my childhood, but we weren't really allowed to watch them. But that was my first sort of association with witches, was from Bewitched, and I absolutely always wanted to be Tabitha.
Right? Bing, 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 bing. Now, what brought you to the craft?
I don't know. It's sort of long road, because I was, like I said, raised in the church, and I was very involved in that. I was a youth pastor. I was leader at the church and all sorts of stuff. But you know, I had a bit of an issue where I was burning out all the time, and I just felt like I needed to take a step back. So I stepped back and then stopped going altogether, and then I just felt empty to do with my time. So I thought, well, you know what? I have never looked into other religions. I'd always been taught that other religions were wrong and this was right and what have you. So I just started looking into and stuff. I mean, I've always been a very spiritual person, and our church was a very spirit-based church. Prophecies and laying on of hands and, you know, all that sort of speaking in tongues, like very spiritual based.
Mm-hmm.
And I had always been able to see things. I used to run away to the cemetery when I was a kid, when I wanted peace and quiet, because the ghosts wouldn't annoy me. They did.
Nice.
I think the first time I ran away, I was about 9 years old, and I went to a cemetery. So I jumped the fence and went and sat on the grave of a young lady who had passed, and chatted with her for hours.
Oh yeah, they'd be laying hands on hard.
They didn't know. I never told them because I didn't know everyone else couldn't see them.
Oh, very good. There you go.
I just thought I was normal. Like, I was never told, or that wasn't something, a gift that everybody had. So, yeah, so for the last, I think, 3 years now, I've just been looking into all sorts of different religions and pantheons and deity, and having a ball with it. And like my husband said, he's never seen me so happy. So, you know, something's got to be.
Yeah. Now, the church you're talking about, we have some real fundamental churches here. We have like a Pentecostal Church of Christ in some areas is super fundamental, and in other places it's more like a Methodist church. It's kind of crazy. But I have a friend that was raised in the Foursquare Gospel. They knew how to throw down for service. Their preacher would mic up, and it was a small room. He would get your attention. So, now, Echo, what's your favorite form of divination?
Oh, cloud scrying. Spend a lot of time outside staring at the sky and watching the clouds drift by, and I get quite a few like messages and stuff from the clouds in there, and then I'll go, all right, what does that mean? I better go look that up. So yeah, I love scrying in the clouds. Love tarot, though I have memory issues, so trying to learn all the cards for me has been a real I find I resonate with the runes more than tarot. Mm-hmm. So I actually have a deck of rune oracle cards to work with.
And that makes sense. I think that, you know, because when I was trying to find my divination system between first and second degree, I felt like a bad witch because tarot and I didn't resonate, but nothing resonated with me. I could do the pendulum a little. And it wasn't until I found the right deck that it worked for me. But the memory issues I so get, I tell people just look at the cards and tell the story. Don't worry about what they're supposed to mean.
Yeah.
And you might try that. Just lay them out and tell yourself, a little story each day.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I need to do. I mean, that is sort of pretty much what I've been doing because I use oracle cards more than tarot. Like, I do have Rider-Waite, but my daughter, for my birthday, which is coming up next week, my daughter is buying me the Witch's Tarot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's looked that one up and found it, and yeah, I think she's bought me 4 decks now.
When I bought my mother, there's I don't know if y'all have it over there, but it's a pottery called Fiesta Ware, and there's an old version and a new version. And I bought her Fiesta Ware, and knowing that when she was gone, it would be mine. And she would laugh at me and say, "You're just stocking up your own Fiesta Ware, aren't you?" Yes, I am.
No, she just bought herself so she's really settling that one.
Very
I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, well, there's so many decks out there, right? I know somebody who has, I think, over 1,000 decks now, but she's been collecting for a long time. That's Mary Kay Greer, so she gets points, right?
Yeah.
So, have you ever done a working that backfired on you?
No, not really. That I'm sort of not sure worked at all, like in the beginning when I was, because I'm learning how to set intention properly and how to, work. But I don't think I've had any that have backfired as such. I did a spell for my husband for his job, and he's been happily there for 2 years now. The next big one I'm working on, though, is a home. Somewhere I can put down roots.
Yeah. Brown jasper as a stone is a really, really good stone for working with specifically home buying and home finding.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I had any backfire.
Well, let's move on. And I asked green sauce, red sauce, but I've been told that over there I need to ask ketchup or barbecue sauce or tomato sauce or barbecue sauce.
I'm a barbecue sauce girl. The spiciness of it. Like, I heard you talking about this with, I think it was Alex the other day. I was thinking how to describe the difference between ketchup and tomato sauce. Ketchup has a little bit more spice in it, where tomato sauce is a bit sweeter.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat my way across the world someday, and I'm going to try all these different things. I'm going to try brown sauce and ketchup in the UK.
I'm going to have to
everywhere.
Care package of Aussie food.
Now, is there an afterlife in your belief system? I know being raised in a fundamental Christian home, was that a confusing or a hard break for you, or did you just translate it for yourself?
I'm still not exactly sure on all of that. Like, I didn't exactly agree with what my church taught on the afterlife. I had a feeling like I'd been here before. And you meet people and they seem to have an old soul. and I sort of think, how can they have such wisdom and knowledge and not have experienced more than they have on this plane?
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, maybe reincarnation, I don't know what happens afterwards, but I'm not scared of what's out there, even though I've been told I'm going to go to hell because, hey, I'm a witch, and, but I look at what I'm doing, say, no, wait a minute, us is just like what the church does. They have the incense, they have prayer, which I pray to my deities. I commune with them, I communicate with them, and I listen and hear back from them. How is that what they do with God? Much stuff that I'm finding now. I mean, they used to always teach me that for every God gives us, there is a version, like that Satan has put out there in the world to tempt you, So,
oh yeah,
if you have prophecy in the church, well, you're going to have oracles and tarot and everything out there in the world for, because Satan's going to lead you astray if you do that. So for everything that there was a gift, there was also this negative one in the witchy world, the witchy community, So yes, I was always taught that. So, and then I thought about it and I thought, well, wait a minute, if I'm still talking to and he's showing me these things through these cards, how is that wrong? I'll have my relationship with the Christian God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit and what have you. I still have that relationship. Now I'm more aware that he's not the only one I can have that relationship with.
I think that's a really
Did that
important.
answer?
Yeah, it answered it really. No, it answered it really well. And you actually, I interviewed Ravenflower. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch that, but she was a youth pastor also.
We have so much in common. We've never really connected. Like, it's so funny. Whenever I hear her speak, I just sit there and I go, me too. Me too. Like, it's like I'm watching myself give an interview. Really is.
Because you were talking, I was like, oh, I know she's not in San Antonio, but now, deserted island time. You have time to grab 5 magical tools. What you gonna grab?
My athame. Not my athame as such, but my working knife, like my working plate, rather than schmancy athame. I'll use the one that's got the sharp blade that I can cut things with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that. Probably some flint so I can light a fire. Survival girl. I've lived out in the bush, so I think practically. So, open knife. I've got flint and the knife to make spark. I need my cauldron so that I can cook and change water into drinkable water. If I'm on a deserted island, it's going to be salt water everywhere. If I can't find drinkable water, I need then I think I don't know, a dowsing rod when they watched your last interview.
That'd be a good one.
I think maybe a pendulum, because you can do the same sort of thing with pendulum.
Very true. Very true.
Very true. And then I could also ask the pendulum questions like, off this island.
Is Arwen ever going to come get me off this island?
Yeah. When am I coming home? So that's 4. And then And then I would take a journal, and I know you've said journal and pencil, but I wouldn't need a pencil because I could write with charcoal from the fire.
You are such a bush woman. Now, tell me a little bit about living in the bush. When you say living in the bush, do you mean y'all were out in tents, or I mean?
Well, this is my life. When we say out bush, it means that you're not living in a big city.
Oh.
Because basically out bush is anywhere that a big city that you're living out in a rural environment. Though when you say it sort of means and stuff like that rather than in the outback, because the outback's not got many trees and stuff. So that's how we sort of differentiate from them. But yes, I have lived in tents in my life. First born about 4 or 5. At the start of every summer school holidays, Mum would pack all of us kids up, I'm the youngest of 5, and take us down to the beach, set up the big tent down there. She and Dad had set up this massive big old army tent they had that had 3 rooms in it. And she would take down the refrigerator, board, the table, all our camping gear. We had bunk beds that were set up in the tent and everything. And we would live there until after Easter for a good 5 months.
Wonderful.
And my dad would go to work from there every morning, and Mum would stay there with all of us kids. And then when school went back, the kids would go back to school, and I was the youngest by 5 years. So Mum and I would just spend all day jumping around on rocks, collecting shells and watching the crabs and just swimming, like, on the beach.
Beautiful. So you basically grew up as a mermaid.
I can't swim.
So you were a mermaid who didn't go in. You were a hermit crab. There we go.
Maybe. No, I used to paddle around, and I can float. I can't sink. Like, that's why I can't swim. Whenever I go under the water, like, my butt just I think I'm swimming on the bottom and I'm swimming along the top like this. Yeah.
Now, what herbs are must-haves in your kitchen and in your craft work? And let's limit it to 3.
Must-haves for me are definitely rosemary. I love rosemary. I love basil. So rosemary and basil, and I think cinnamon.
Oh, good. Good. That's a nice range. I like that. Now, powder or rolled? What kind of incense do you prefer?
I have a lot of incense sticks, which I like to burn them inside. But if I'm outside doing ritual or anything, it's generally a herbal mix that I've put together, or wood, or pine needles or whatever that I've just sort of put together, and it's loose, and I just throw it on a coal disc.
Nice. Now, do you use a lot of herbs that are native to where you are? That stuff that we would not. I was just watching. I just read an article, and it was actually about Australia, and they were all 3 of the chefs that are doing about this culture blend. Talked about this berry, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it was like it was a specific name, but they were making food with it, some savory, some sweet.
Okay. Now, I don't actually. That's one thing I'm just starting to try and get into more, is all of the native herbs and native foods. Like, basically across the road every Saturday, we have a fresh fruit and veggie market. and goods and stuff like that. So I go down there. It's where I get all my fruit and veggie from. And there's also a guy down there called Mr. Spice who has all the spices and herbs and everything. So, and then stalls that have all the herbs and stuff too. So I go down there and just get all my stuff from down there.
Very cool.
But in my incenses, I use a lot of things like I will go out and pick up the pine leaves or, the leaves from the tree. I'll pick them up and throw them in my mix so that I love the scent of pine, especially on a hot day. It just, that smell, it takes me back to when we were camping as kids.
Yeah.
And use a lot of eucalyptus gum resin out and harvest that from different trees and what have you.
Yeah, so that would definitely be a local, because we don't have eucalyptus around here.
Yeah.
We also don't get cute little koala bears either, darn it.
Yeah, well, they're not friendly.
I know, I hear that, but I still think they're cute.
Of living in Australia, and I'm turning 44 next week, I have seen one koala out in the wild.
That's one more than I've seen.
Yep.
But I've seen moose, and I'll bet you haven't seen moose in the wild.
No.
And they're not nice either. They are actually in the top 10 most dangerous land animals in North America.
Yeah, I actually heard that because I watch a lot of shows on Alaskan frontier and I love that sort of show. Those sort of shows.
She's got Arwen speak.
That's why we get along so well.
Now we're going into the 10th question already. Woo! How do you intentionally honor or care for deity?
Ooh. Oh, that's a hard question. How do I intentionally? I think animals. Like if I have a lot of wildlife around here, especially birds, and amazing respect for the animals, and I talk with them and I feed them if they come around wanting some food. So I don't know, that's one way I honour her, and I try and take care of the environment as much as I can. Other than that, how do I intentionally do it? Basically, my altar and pray, talk to them.
Yeah.
Honour them, tell them how I feel about them.
Now tell me, I had to ask Katie Flowers, I think it was, about the birds, because I'm a bird person. I used to raise and breed cockatiels and budgies. And she said that budgies weren't in the wild there anymore.
They are, but they're not so much around here, or around where she is. Way in the outback, massive flocks of budgies.
Oh, good.
But unless you've been out there, you don't know that. I mean, my brother used to work right in the outback. Like, he's worked on the biggest cattle station in Australia and the biggest sheep station in Australia. So he used to take photos of all the birds out there for me and send them to me.
Oh, do you ever re-find them and scan them? I'd love to see them. That's why I want to go, is for I told Katie I'd be walking around like this, looking for cockatoos. Well, I tell you what, you can sit on the
veranda and you will see white cockatoos. We have probably a flock of about 200 that live across the road.
Oh.
So you will definitely see white cockatoos. You will see rosellas, not rosellas, rainbow lorikeets, which are Absolutely beautiful, multicolored.
And they're so happy. I actually had a violet-naped Lori for a while who was very, very sweet. He loved to play, but the problem with them is because they're mostly a nectar eater, what goes in the front comes out the back.
Exactly. But yeah, every now and then we'll see black cockatoo fly overhead. Like they're
cool.
a lot rare. Usually come before a big rain or a big storm. That's like an indigenous. They've passed that down for generations as knowledge that rain will come after the black cockatoos.
That's very cool. I like that. Now, I have a deck somewhere, and it's called the Dreamtime Oracle. It's actually an Australian-based Deborah Haken, maybe Haken. I can't think of the name, but it's a beautiful deck, and I don't work with it as much because it has a sad connotation for me. It was given to myself and a woman I was seeing at the time, and then that woman has passed since. So when I look at the deck, I'm like, oh, boo-hoo-hoo. So I got to get past that shit. Now, what do you do for self-care for you?
Oh, lots of stuff. I learned rather young that I am a definitely need of self-care.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned over the years to do that. But definitely going and having a soak in a bathtub, just putting some music on, some candles on, throw some scents in the water or whatever I've got at the time and just have a soak.
Mm-hmm.
Something I'll do probably twice a week. And that I do my crafts and things, like I'm into leatherworking. I work with wood. I don't know. I'll do any craft. You give it to me and I'll try it. You know. So I do candle making. I'm just so doing something like that for me is a big thing.
Yeah.
And if I'm in a real bad state, like if I'm from depression and post-traumatic stress disorder, and because of that, it's why I've had to learn self-care. But if I'm really run down, really low on energy, my husband will pick up on it and he'll say, all right, girl, get in the car. And he'll drive me over to the beach and we'll just walk along the beach and it just re-energizes me. I have another friend who is very, very off this energy, and it's such a good energy, and he knows he gives it off, and he'll ring me up and he'll say, how you feeling? And I'll say, oh, a bit drained, a bit whatever, and he'll say, I'm on my way, and he'll just come over and he just gives me a hug and we do this whole, I turn into an energy vampire and I'm just like better.
Lovely. That's lovely, man. Having people like that in your life is a good damn thing. Now, question number 12. Name something that always brings you joy.
Brings me joy. It's actually a hard one. I would say my children, but they don't always bring me joy. I mean, I love being a mum, but yeah, sometimes I could quite happily, not be one.
For 15 minutes.
Always brings me joy. Going to the beach or going out into the and, just walking along a bush track somewhere, or something like that, something naturey always brings me back to my good place.
Cool. I love, you've done some like videos, haven't you, where you take the camera and you walk on the bush. Is that you or is that somebody else I'm thinking of?
That's somebody else. On doing it.
Well, I charge you, Echo, to get a picture of the flock on your video.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I'll have to go down there at dusk when they're all settling down for the day.
And
It'll
I
be so
imagine
noisy.
I was just going to say, I imagine it'll be incredibly noisy because people get them because they're so pretty. I'm like, have you ever lived with one? Because it's like living with an air raid siren.
Uh-huh. And when you've got a few hundred of them living across the road, it's, yeah. And then we've got galahs as well. Do you know what a galah is?
We call them rose-breasted here. But
okay.
the little gray with the pink breast, and they're incredibly pretty, but I understand they're rather obnoxious when they're in large flocks. Is that true?
That is true. We have a large flock of them over there as well. Time you hear them and the cockatoos going off, and that yeah. I wake up to kookaburras, so that's all good.
Oh, cool. I need pictures.
All right.
Now, what's your favorite meal? And this is your favorite meal, not a family favorite meal, but what Echo likes.
Echo likes I don't know. I mean, there's so many yummy foods. I love fish. I'm a fish eater. I'm a big fish eater. I like fish with this over the top of it and cracked pepper, and then baked in the oven or steamed in a steamer, and till it just falls apart. Love steamed veggies.
Yum. Now that we've made you hungry, and it's in the morning over there, isn't it?
It is. It's nearly 11.
Okay. Well, maybe you can have some fish for lunch.
I had a banana for breakfast. That was yum.
I had a bagel. I ran out of bananas. So, ghost story time. Have you ever had an experience with a ghost that you can share with us?
Always.
Oh, that's right.
Well, you've already heard one story about how I used to nick off to the cemetery, so I'll tell you another story. This one, I'm not sure if it was a ghost or what. It was a very negative entity anyway. This house when my son was about 1. Miles from nowhere, out in the middle of, call it. And my husband and I moved in there out of winter, and the house just seemed really cold. And there were some rooms that I just felt really uncomfortable in, but we were living in a shelter before that, so any house that someone had lent us was a house, there. But we put all of our furniture in the lounge room. We actually had our bed in there and the baby's cot, and everything was in the lounge room because the other rooms were just so cold.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Every time we left the lounge room and we went to the kitchen, I would just get so angry, and I would just want to turn around and hit someone, and I'm not a violent person, but I really just, when I was in the kitchen, that was it, I'd snap. Well, my husband and I had a major argument because of that was in the house, and I threw his car keys in the fireplace, threatening to leave me there. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. So I threw away his keys, thinking, oh yeah, they'll be fine. I mean, silly me. But anyway, so he took off and left me there with the baby. He walked into his mum's house, and then got their car and came back. In the meantime, we decided that's it, we're not living here anymore. So we stayed there for a total. And the day we were leaving, he and I were downstairs at the back. Now, the kitchen door opened onto a flight of steps that had no rails and had a cement or concrete block at the bottom that was where the cars parked.
Mm-hmm.
And my son was standing at the top of the steps, and we were both down packing the trailer. And I've looked up in time to see him get pushed out of the doorway and down the stairs.
Oh, my God.
I couldn't see what it was, but it looked like someone had literally just pushed him in the back. He did the whole, just losing his balance. And he went flying down the stairs. So I just picked him up, put him in the car, and I'm like, that's it, we're leaving. And we left, because back then I didn't know about it, you know.
Yeah, man, I'd go back now and get out.
Yeah, well, now I know what to do and everything. I would.
Yeah.
I had a friend ring me. She'd never been to that house, but she's like, there's something wrong with that house. Get out of there. Told her or anything. That was the first time she rang me. So I'm like, yeah, all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, here's the last question. Getting rid of those goosebumps. What's your best advice to someone just starting out on their path?
Take your time. Take your time. Study. Just relax into it. Don't think you've got to know it all now. You know, it's a journey, there's no real prize for getting to the end of it. You know, like there is no end of it. Go with the flow and learn what you can. Go to your library, borrow books, talk to people, but you don't have to take it all. You know, make your own mind up.
Perfect. That's beautiful. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Advice is just, it's a gift, but you don't have to do anything with it unless you want to.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Echo. This has been so much fun. I love catching up with you again, girl, because we don't talk enough anymore. And I really want to start that again because I kind of miss it. You know, I got you and then Joey Moore's over on the other side. We do some chit chat sometimes in the morning. Well, I think it's her evening, but so thank you very much. I am going to say goodbye now. But how do you say goodbye when you sign off on your videos? Do you have any catchphrase?
I don't have a catchphrase or anything. I just sort of say see you later and I'm back on.
I like it. I like it. It's way better than fuck off.
But to you, my darling, I will say see you on the flip side.
Absolutely. And seek joy, y'all. Bye-bye.